Team MAKK. I'm Katie, this is Andrea, Margot, and Kevin, and we're going to present an overview of the research we've been working on for Lakeway Marina. Lakeway Marina is a business located here in Austin on Lake Travis, and they offer boat rentals, party barges, kayaks, other services like that for people to enjoy. And they were willing to explore potential growth for their company through the use of social media accounts. So we decided to focus our research that we'll talk about today on how to provide them with solid recommendations so that this can happen. Given that 700 million people are using Instagram every month, with about 400 million of them logging in every day, we saw Instagram as a perfect place for us to focus our recommendations. So our report will be specifically focused on their Instagram account and how we can help tailor their account towards current trends and aesthetics to hopefully build a stronger brand following and customer loyalty. So an overview of what we're going to do today. First, Andrea will take us through the primary research and the process behind that, and then Kevin will talk about what sources we used in our secondary research, how that helps strengthen what we previously found, and then Margot will talk about the most significant findings and conclusions and what that means for a company like Lakeway Marina. And then finally, we'll be able to discuss our 3 recommendations that we think are best for helping their Instagram account.
Good afternoon, my name is Andrea Castañeda, and today I'll be discussing how we created our survey, the means of distribution, and how we analyzed our data. So first off, our team aimed at designing a survey which would provide us with strong recommendations for Lakeway Marina. We brainstormed potential questions, and as a team we came up with the 10 best questions. So individually we did about 2 to 4 questions each, and then the 10 best questions were selected, and we went through a process of asking our classmates, our client, and our instructor for approval and feedback on our survey. Our sample population was the St. Edwards community and the greater Austin area. And we chose this population not only because it was very convenient for us, but also because it was the necessary sample to receive the primary data that we were required. And the total population size was 5,000 St. Edwards faculty, students, and staff. And once the survey was approved and our sample population was chosen, we began to distribute our survey through hard copies, as well as sharing the link online through platforms such as message applications, Facebook groups, and our online personal pages. So when we received our surveys back, we had a total of 254 hard copies and 116 electronic responses. This gave us a total of 370 surveys, and out of the 370 surveys, all electronic responses were considered complete and were used towards our final feedback. So this was due to the fact that we used Google Forms for our survey results, and Google Forms automatically instructed participants on how to properly complete the survey. So out of the 370 surveys that we received, we deemed 10 to be invalid surveys, and we deemed these 10 invalid surveys to be of no use because of either 3 potential questions were not answered correctly, or they were incomplete in the hard copy. And we also deemed that our questions 5 and 6 on the survey were really dependent upon each other. So if questions 5 and 6 were incomplete or not answered properly on our survey, we also deemed those invalid. So the total 10 invalid surveys were not counted towards our final feedback, and this gave us a total number of 360 surveys to work with. So after we received the 306 valid surveys and we eliminated the ones that were not counted towards our final feedback, then the team members were responsible for manually entering these on the online platform of Google Forms, where all the responses were automatically analyzed. With a population size of 5,000 and 360 valid surveys, we gained a confidence level of 95%. Our results Our results gave us significant data to provide Lakeway Marina with further recommendations on how to engage customers through online platforms. And now I'm going to pass it off to Kevin, who will further discuss secondary research.
Thank you. As Andrea said, my name is Kevin, and today we'll be talking about how, in addition to primary research, we conducted secondary research on how small businesses use and implement social media to increase their business line and business drive. So, in order to maintain the ethicalness and the scientific approach of the whole project, we decided to use reputable sources such as academic journals and industry-related databases, as well as organizational sites. By using these sites, we identified key trends based on our visual graphics provided by Google Forms, and on those key trends we elaborated and extracted information which we chose to further explore, and through our secondary research we found that our primary research was supported, and we were able to make findings and conclusions that Margo will further explain.
Hi everybody, I'm Margo, and like Kevin just mentioned, I'll be discussing our findings and conclusions. So with our primary research, each question was phrased differently, but we looked at our data to see which ones kind of corresponded. So we had backup to other questions. This would mostly pertain to questions like, why do you like a post? And then another question that asked, why do you unfollow? And kind of see if their results kind of were consistent throughout. And then our secondary research explored ideas that we found in our primary research data, and the following three conclusions were we deemed most important. The first one states consumers prefer when a small business has a frequent and consistent social media presence. So this will help build brand recognition from consumers on Instagram and help foster that engagement and conversation on social media. The second states consumers prefer when a small business posts aesthetically pleasing images and their content is creative. These are more likely to attract engagement such as likes, comments, views, and shares, and also lend itself again to that brand recognition with the use of voice and style seen within each post and throughout the platform in general. And the third is after following a business on social media, consumers are more likely to continue to visit the business's website, purchase products and or services, and recommend the business to others. In turn, this leads to a continuous cycle of conversion. That means that the content is informative and intriguing, and they'll just continue to remember and enjoy what they're seeing. And the consumer online will ensure that the brand is reaching them most often. The cycle that we're talking about means that when customers purchase a product and then they follow the business online, they'll continue to recognize that brand, share it with their friends who may also purchase, and then continue to follow them on social media. So Katie will discuss how these actually turn into recommendations for Lakeway Marina and what they can do to build their engagement and conversation on Instagram.
Okay, so after analyzing the data from primary and secondary research, we were able to come up with 3 recommendations that would best optimize Lakeway Marina's presence on Instagram. First, we recommend maintaining a frequent and consistent presence on social media. And this originally came from just consumers saying that they felt most engaged with a business when they had a weekly update or blog post. So we outlined several steps in our report on how Lakeway Marina can implement this, and supported through secondary research, we recommended tips like fostering a consistent presence for at least a year, posting 5 to 7 times a week, and however many times you do decide to post with, not altering that amount and keeping it fixed. We recommend ensuring this happens by using online platforms that can help you schedule when you're going to post things or set times and dates. Second, we recommend using aesthetically pleasing images and videos and engaging captions. This is derived from our primary research where people said they are most likely to like or engage with things that they thought were visually appealing. And we know visually appealing is a pretty subjective term, but secondary research helped us kind of concise that and tell us what followers mean when they say visually appealing. So we produced a detailed outline of qualities that people normally associate visually appealing with, and this has to do with bright lit photographs, clear images, typically engaging subjects, people, and just activities, attention-grabbing color. And our research also showed that consumers normally react positively with companies that have a specific aesthetic or brand image that they can associate the name to. So we also recommend creating a kind of uniform theme for Lakeway Marina that people can notice when they see Lakeway Marina, they know where it's from. And as for how to go about this, many people that we interviewed said that when they talk about lake activities or things like that, they normally associate it with being outdoors, social events, spending time with friends and family, just doing sport activities, having fun. So these are just some buzzwords and themes that your Instagram could potentially begin catering towards and building a brand around. Next, the same process was used in terms of how to create the engaging captions, which is the second part of that recommendation. So we just created examples, so like calls to action that would actually engage your customers and make them feel like they could communicate with the business, making Lakeway Marina seem very approachable. Contests they could hold on Instagram that would not only incentivize the people to participate, but get your name out there to other followers and other engaging activities. And then just effective ways to advertise that will just encourage engagement and encourage people to want to know what's going on with Lakeway Marina. So our final and third recommendation is based on just keeping that engagement and monitoring the conversation that's going on with Lakeway Marina on Instagram. And this comes from something we talked about earlier. We noticed how people will be visiting a business's website, buying their products and services, and then hearing about it from word of mouth before they even follow the social media profile. Then after they follow the social media profile, they continue visiting that website, they continue buying those products and services, and then they continue the word of mouth by sharing their experience with friends and family. So you're back to the word of mouth, which is what originally led this customer to your social media page, or in this case, Instagram. Our secondary research only strengthened that further by giving it a name, and it's known as the consumer cycle. So this recommendation is basically just outlining how you can best optimize this cycle. We recommended things like monitoring your likes, tags, comments, and responding to them accordingly. So by beginning to notice what's working and then making sure you do that in the future, you're responding directly to your customers and giving them what they want. So this is where we mention using Instagram Analytics, which is a tool that's available to Instagram businesses. This shows you when people are online most, when they're most likely to see your post, demographics, age range, stuff like that you can take note of and then post accordingly, so you're really making sure to continue driving the consumer cycle and increase customer interaction as much as you can. So in summary, these are our 3 recommendations that we saw best for building a strong brand loyalty and customer following for Lakeway Marina. And we hope that this research will help the companies see the potential that Instagram can bring to them in terms of their success. Thank you for your time. Do y'all have any questions?